And today I'm going to introduce you to Richard. Uh, Richard has a long history in sales. I can go on and on, but I would like to introduce him first and let him introduce himself first. So Richard, could you please introduce yourself, give you a little bit of history, and what do you do now?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm Richard McLemore. I've been a long time Austinite, moved here in 81 with Hewlett Packard back in the days. I was a technologist and I was with some companies of note. Had a good life in technology. I've also dabbled in telecom areas, in security areas. I used to own a sports recruiting company, which is kind of interesting. And I've started up a bunch of sports leagues out in the hill country. And I'm retired today, but I'm starting up to try to take care of your mama. That's the business I'm in. I'm in the business now of wanting to take care of your mama. I've done well in my life, and now I want to end it off by making sure that I can serve other people. And the way that I think I provide the most value in doing that is by disrupting the traditional assisted living, memory care markets and doing something along that line, but different than what's going on today.
Awesome, perfect segue. So as Richard said, so you just said, you're in this new business of helping people. So kind of share, I guess, who can you help and who would you like to connect these days now?
Well, who can I help? It's a product of who I am. After 3 years ago, I lost my father-in-law to COVID. And the whole process of that happening left me with a sour taste of assisted living and memory care facilities because they're huge. But they had these rules that, they wanted to be autocratic and you had to follow their rules, their way or the highway. Well, I ran up against that and we lost my father-in-law. And I decided instead of trying to, there was pressure on me from my family to, sue their pants off. They can't allow you to not see your relative on that. And I said, no, that would just end up in court and that wouldn't be effective. But what'd be more effective is if we can figure out a way that we could take some money out of their pocket while taking better care of the people they propose they're taking care of. This whole thing, whenever I talk to somebody, I'll quickly say, hey, have you ever had anybody that you know and love in a nursing home? Think about that for a second. And what I get as feedback is very typically, oh yeah, and it was terrible. It was terrible. I've actually had my mom in 3 places because they just wouldn't take care of her. But now these are these are places that are for-profit centers and they should be taking care of your mama. So I decided I was going to not gripe about it, but I was going to do it, show it, and I was going to expand on this model and try to build multiples up and down the Texas and Oklahoma highways. So, because there's a need, I started talking, the whole need comes from baby boomers. Right. I'm one, all right. Anyone who's been listening to this, who was born between 1950 or 1946 and 1964, you're a baby boomer. There's 77 million of us have been born during that time. And of course, some are dying. Others are moving in from other places to regenerate it. Well, 77 million. Then I started reading about, because I'm in real estate, what that was going to do to the market. And essentially they're calling it the silver tsunami. That's the waves coming at us from seniors who are going to turn 65 and they're going to try to, sell their houses and possibly move into and get long-term health care. Well, several things are wrong with that model as people thinking it, because number one, healthcare is really expensive. You're going to spend an average of, if you get home health care, somebody to live in with you, you could spend as much as $20,000 a month for that care. And that's why things like assisted living and memory care, and what memory care is, for those that are listening and not understanding, that's dementia and Alzheimer's. So those are the diseases that every one of us are going to get. I don't care if you think you're never going to get dementia, you're going to have dementia. There's actually, what I've read is 34 different levels of dementia, and every human encounters it, and every human, there is no cure for it. So dementia very much can cause your demise. So I want to help people. I've had a good living. And I just thought I can do a better job. I can put these things inside of houses. And what I'm looking to do is buy the biggest houses I can buy, 6-bedroom plus, with as many garages that I convert into bedrooms. And I'm going to put, 14 to 16 people inside these homes. I'm going to have a full-time cook, and I'm going to have a staff that will be there 24/7 to take care of them. I can do all that and serve so many different people while I serve myself. Really the long-term look at this is I'm middle-aged, I'm retired, and I may need a place. My wife and I may need a place to live. Well, what would be better than to move into one of our places where I own it, and we would be the king and queen of that facility. So, there is a selfish part of this, but it will be helping other people. And I want to look and try to help as many people as possible.
Awesome. So yeah, I'll be posting that info, whatever Richard has. I'll be posting that info. So as he said, hey, if you have parents that are getting old and you don't know what you're going to do with them as far as taking care, obviously Richard would be a good person to talk to. And there's a business aspect to it, and that's where you probably can partner up if that's something you're interested in. So reach out to Richard for that.
Yeah, because the high point, one of the things is this could go to the person actually looking to move into a home, but really my audience are the daughters and the sons of the people, because they're the people who at the end of the day, they're probably going to stand up and be financially supportive of them. They're going to, be the executors of their executoresses of their wills and estates. So these are the people who are truly my customers. And in that, I have to now have a bar that's held high level for the elderly, but I got to have an even higher bar for daughter Judy, who's never going to be happy with whatever mom's getting. And so they're going to be, the person who we have to absolutely please, along with taking care and being safe, medicating, feeding, and caring, and just being companions to seniors. Since I've done this last 3 years, I've learned a lot of stuff I didn't know in technology about it. And that'll be my difference also. I'm going to incorporate technology at a scale that has not been seen in these so-called nursing homes so far. I'm going to advance the technology. We're going to provide better care. We're going to feed them better food. We're going to get them more activities. We're going to keep them safe, and we're going to keep them happy and secure.
Awesome. Well, I mean, my next question, I don't know, you might have already answered it, but I'll ask again. I'll ask anyway. So what inspired you to get up and do what you do every day?
It was just, all my life I've been in technology, and all my life I've been in sales and marketing and operations. And I like that. And I really tried to excel at that business. There comes a point, when as you age and you mellow, you start looking at your life. We're going through this because of COVID right now. I'm blaming COVID's causes, but COVID, people got to reassess themselves. Many ways I have opinions. From a conservative viewpoint, it's not good. But then there's been many ways that people are starting to, do things they would have never done before. And so in all that kind of thing, and that's what kind of mellowed me. And I've made some pretty good money in my life, and I've spent a great deal of money in my life, and I'm just happy with who I am. And I want to try to provide for my family and make sure that we're all secure and that I can leave a legacy to my kids and, people. I have a new grandson, so I have a new reason to want to try to do great in life. And so those are the things that are, and I'm way too old to be starting new companies up. But this is what I love to do. And I love to share, and I love to give people and give back to people. So
awesome. Inspiring indeed. I mean, as when he said, who can he help? You can see that there's an inspiration right there. But anyway, Richard, obviously you shared a lot of things, obviously not on this, but when we talk, I know you did build a lot of great things, and you built this, not only businesses, but you built sales forces, all that stuff. I'm sure you have a lot of tips, right? And tricks that you learned, but you can only share one tip that has helped you professionally or personally. One tip that you can share to everybody else.
That's a great question. And I want to talk from the heart. The one thing that I would say is really get to know and associate and relate to the people that work with you. Nobody's ever worked for me. I've worked with thousands of people. And that's the way I always look at it. I never looked at it that I was their boss and they were an employee. I looked at we were team oriented, and that sometimes I was a quarterback, other times I was a coach, sometimes I'm just a spectator. But I want to make sure they know anything they want to ever try in life is good. And I really mean that. I've had a ton of people who were in technology, and they get one-on-one with me and they say, Richard, I really want to run this kind of business. I really want to make jewelry. I really want to sell financial advice on the internet. And I said, well, what's keeping you from doing it? Well, I just don't know anything about it. I said, do you have you got two eyes, I know. You have a brain that processes, you have a mouth that talks, and you got ears that can hear. Get out and talk to people. That's how you find it. And that's, if I look back at my life, I would term myself an opportunist who I had no fear of any man. I've never been afraid of anybody. And my background's been such I played college football, and I was a warrior, and I did all these things in life. But at the end of the day, I knew that nobody was just going to give it to me if I didn't ask for it. So that's the relationship you want to have. You want to have it where it's collaborative rather than adversarial. I hate it, and I hate being told what to do from the top down. I just hate that. But that's Richard McLemore, and that's one of my problems that I'll be dealing with all my life. So, just get out and relate to people. Look for some reason to have a conversation. I'm not saying like them. I'm not even saying respect them. Have a conversation and see where that goes, because some of the best relationships I have now in my life at my old age is people who I just came across in a happenstance way, and we just related, and now we're tighter than we can be. So do right, do well, you'll do well.
Awesome tip. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Work with people. You don't manage people, or you don't really control people. You just work. Yeah, that's a great tip, whatever you do. So awesome. Again, Richard, thanks for taking the time. And like I said, I'll be sharing Richard's information, whatever he shares with me, and reach out to him. And as Richard mentioned, he likes to connect with people. So, hey, reach out to him. You can learn a lot. I'll learn a lot from him. So just from my conversations itself. Thank you, Richard. Again, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for this opportunity. This is a great one, and I appreciate the time. So thank you.